appreciate it.
I like to be gentle. Alright, so we've got the braces onto here. If you remember from last time, if not, welcome. Go check out some of the previous stuff to get caught up. But it's, I think, relatively self-evident that the braces are now glued onto the back. See? And all we have to do is to round them over. I like to use a block plane to get a lot of it done, and then I use a finer plane to get the final amount around. So I like to do all of this off of the plane, off of the blade, you know, whatever, just so that way it's nice and easy looking, and you get a nice sheen and shine off of the blade that you can't get if you sand it or if you use a rotary tool. So yeah, I could have taken this to a router and put a half round onto it, and it would have looked okay, but it wouldn't have the same kind of effect. So when you're rounding, you have to think about pulling the curve around and realizing that every time you make a facet, the next pass is going to have to break that facet, so that way you're creating many, many micro facets. So without further ado, I think it's best to just kind of do it and show it. So again, always be aware of the directionality of your brace, or at least the wood grade. So I like to get this nice and smoothed up first. It doesn't have to be level, because the only surface I really care about is here in the middle. So I'm gonna just start pulling this down and around, just like this. Now as you come around, you have to be very careful not to catch the corner of your plane into your center strip. But I like to go down and then break the corner around and then pull it down one more time, which generally gets a pretty nice general profile. And then as much as I would love to take this, flip it around and work in this direction, that's going to be going against the grain. So instead of going against the grain, it's easier to learn how to work not only to the outside of your hand, but towards the inside of your hand. So I find it's easy, instead of holding the plane like this, as one is prone to do, I actually like to kind of wrap my fingers around, so that way I'm almost intentionally holding it this way and then rotating it up into my hand. So one of the other things I forgot to mention and point out, I have an asymmetric setup on my block plane, so meaning this side cuts a lot lighter than this side, and that's because there's a lot of other things that I do where I sometimes want a heavier cut or a lighter cut, but I don't want to reset up my plane. So most of my planes are actually set up this way. So you have two levels of cutting inside of one tool. So plus side, you know, it saves you a lot of time when you're moving between the depths. Downside is when you're doing something like this, it takes a little bit longer on the other side. But it's a lot less time than having to reset up your plane every single time. I'll see you back here as soon as I'm done doing all of this.
foot!
Alright, so now that this is all done, and I think I've got most of the chips out of my hair, it's cleanup time. And we're back. That's fantastic. I really need L's like that more often. So next up, I need to get a mark on here for getting the edges of the braces measured out, because I like to have a little bit of a scallop on there. So let's grab a ruler and we'll do that. Okay, so now with ruler in hand, I like to measure in 65 millimeters from the edge of essentially my outline. And for the middle brace, because we're going across it at this kind of an angle, I like to measure from this side, so it essentially weakens the center of the back a little bit more. Doesn't make a difference. Not that I'm able to figure out or understand or hear, but this is my process. It's what I've always done. So I'm just going to go around and mark 65 at all these corners, and then I'll show you the two different ways of doing this, and they're both pretty easy. One requires special tools, the other requires forethought, because in order to get the mortises easily done without having to spend a whole lot of time measuring, and every time you have to measure you make mistakes. This is one of the few times that I've actually pulled out a ruler thus far to figure out exactly what we're doing. So I try to not have to measure as much, because like I said, measuring makes mistakes. And guitar making should be easy and fun and rewarding. Okay, so I've got just a little tick mark marked at 65 in on each side. So the first way, well, okay, to measure out the mortise, I use this Japanese marking blade. And this goes along the side, and I'll show you more of this later on. I have this piece, which is set to the depth of this Japanese marking blade. You can see that. It's set to the depth of this, so that way, when I cut the edge of the brace down to this height, it's now exactly the right depth for the mortise, so it takes out all the thought. This is kind of like a go, no-go gauge. So I'm gonna just take this and notice how I've got my hand, and I'm leaning on my elbow, and my whole hand is behind the sharp thing. And make sure that you don't have anything out this way, because we're gonna start off by just taking some big chunks. And this is a place where I get complacent because I wear glasses. You know, I wear glasses, but if you don't, this is a great place to wear safety goggles, because the last thing you want to do is have one of these shards getting stuck in your eye. So I probably should wear safety glasses, but at the same time it's also redundant for me. So we're just going to keep cutting down, making this as nice and smooth as possible. Now, where this is going to get really difficult, as you can see here, because this is a curly piece, there's tear out, because I'm taking a really heavy cut, because you want to get down to the end of it really quickly, and it's wanting to tear out here, and it's wanting to twist. So yes, you can kind of come through and take smaller cuts, but if it's also being very difficult, you can come in from this direction using the proper technique and make cuts going this way for a ways where you've got a nice clean cut, and then meet up in the middle again. So this is a little bit tedious. We can do this. It's not that big of a deal. It's pretty quick, and this is what I've done for just about the first 100 guitars of my career. Now I've got a custom-made dado blade. Well, it's not a dado blade, it's a a large swath cutting blade, so I'll show you that. Alright, so here we are. We've got the braces here, and again our marks here. And this is the blade I was mentioning. It's, I'm not going to touch it. It's a big old nasty scary blade. It's, it cuts quite a chunk out of the wood. So I've got the set even written on here to not change the settings, because this is set exactly for this operation. So get that in there. That's good enough. I've got my dust collector hooked up to this, and all I'm gonna do is just run the brace right up. So this one is really loud. As always, definitely wear your ear protection. This is one of those ones. I never skip it. It's loud, it's scary, it's did I mention loud and scary? Yeah, it's all of those. So let's get this going. Well, that's a lot better. It's really fast, really quick, really easy, really clean, really consistent, and it takes all of the measurements out. I don't have to worry too much about making the right measurements, making sure that it's parallel. Now, I will say, I did almost the first 100 guitars with a chisel, and I will highly suggest that you practice this way. At this point in time, I've earned the right to have this terrifying saw blade whirring at my fingertips. But, you know, if I didn't have this, I'd still be doing it the other way. So now, essentially, with the exception of cutting off the back braces, the back is done. It's ready to go onto the guitar. With that said, please buy some merch for $500 off of a deposit of a guitar. Feel free to put in the promo code YouTube. Links for everything that I use are in the description. I really love this. Please like, subscribe. It helps me out a lot, and I love bringing this kind of content to you. So until next time, have a good one.